Hey, welcome back to Love Fashionably, the podcast. I'm so excited that you are joining me again on this Monday night. I hope that you have had a great start to your week. I have started back to school, and I was just talking in the studio that my days are, you would think summer, your days are all mixed up. But there's so much happening that it's like I'm just trying to keep a track of my days right now. And I'm on a 2-hour time difference too, so that's kind of been tricky to get back on track and waking up early and all the things. But I hope that you are doing well and having a great week. As always, I love to start by just saying a big thank you to BGTV Studios. Without them, this podcast is not possible. And so be sure that you follow, like, comment, save, share, all the things. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of the social media things. But this particular video, you find us live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you miss it and you want to go back and watch one, go to the YouTube channel. It's a good way that everything's there and kind of archived for you to see. But yeah, so, and I also want to mention, so in case you're new and you don't know, BGTV Studios is not just this podcast. There's a whole podcast network. There are lots of podcasts that are happening, several that are happening on Monday night and all throughout the week. So be sure to go to bgtvstudios.com so you can see the full lineup of everything that is happening all throughout the week. So you can check out some other shows. But today I just want to kind of talk about just with school starting every school year, I get a nice big Erin Condren planner. Don't come for me. I know those things are expensive, but as someone who is working in the school system, that is my life. I'm a teletherapist, so it's not like when I was in the school, I had Post-it notes like stuck all over my wall, and then I could like stick them out. I'm one of those. I have my to-do list. I like to write down. I like to cross it off to know that I'm like feeling accomplished. And so I have my big fancy notebook, and I started it a couple years ago. And I get to, it's always a fun in the summer, like right before school starts, I go and if you know about their planners, you can like design them, and you can like change the color of like the spiral and make it like rose gold or gold, or you can do the traditional silver. But you know me, I'm not doing traditional silver. You can change the covers. They have different ones. Of course, they have lots of girly ones. But they also have ones that are like Star Wars, and I don't know. You can customize it. You can like write things on them. You can put your name or different things on it. And so that's kind of how this whole little story started to unfold. So just to kind of, some of you that know me know a little bit about this story. So last April, I moved to Tuscaloosa, and I'd been working with the telepractice company. I was in a good position with the company, and I had finally gotten in a position that was like, because most contract companies are, if you don't know in this world, taxes are not my thing. I did not know how this all worked, but there's a 1099 and there's a W-2 position, and those two are very different. And I had been a 1099, which means that they don't take your taxes out, yay, more money. But then Uncle Sam comes calling in April, and boy, you better have that checkbook ready, because he's asking for all of it and some, it feels like. But a W-2 position. So it just means it's like basically a steady paycheck that you know is coming in. Everything's going to be worked out. So I'd kind of gotten in that position, and I moved myself to Tuscaloosa, and I'm thinking, okay, everything's going to be great. I know that I'm going to have this kind of coming in, and everything's going to be going well. And then come middle of May, so I was there about a month, and I started getting emails and text messages and phone calls from my friends that were in the company that were saying that something's going down, and they're about to terminate all of our positions. All of the W-2 type positions, they were getting rid of them, and that the way that our contracts all worked, that they weren't going to even pay us out through the contract. They were just cutting us off in 2 weeks. And of course, panic absolutely sets in because yes, I'd saved up and I was ready. But as we all know, it doesn't matter how much you save these days, it's going to run out very quickly. And so in my mind, I'm like planning ahead and I'm thinking, okay, well, I can survive for like a couple months and then what am I going to do and all this because we're heading into summer. Speech therapy, there's no jobs in the summer. So absolute panic had set in instead of pray. I panicked first and prayed second. Should have worked it the other way around and I would have worked out a lot better. But I eventually get there. But long story, very short, I did get to a point to where I let go of the worry and I prayed. And right before I had my meeting, I had put on this song and I had prayed and I went to my meeting and the lady goes, well, we are getting rid of the position, but we're going to let you keep all of your benefits and all the package and we'll treat you the same. And bonus, we're going to pay you through the end of your contract. And it was like, what a blessing. But still, there were lots of things going on. So I ended up changing companies in October. And then that story is just absolutely wild too. The head of that company did something for me that allowed me to do that they were saying he had not allowed for others. And it was just an open door and it was amazing. But I just kind of want to talk about, so when I was going back, so in the middle of all that chaos and unsteadiness in my job, I was getting ready to do my planner for the next school year, which was last school year. And I knew, like I said, my planner is like my life throughout the school year. And so I wanted to have something on there. I'd always just kind of put my name and like, I don't know, the school I was at. But I wanted a reminder on there. And I knew I needed something I could see every day because I was sure of God, but I was still kind of unsure at the same time. Like, I know he's provider because I've seen him do it before in my life, but it's like, I really don't want to walk through this again, kind of a thing. So I need that reminder to remind myself that he is faithful. And the verse that came was Isaiah 43:19. He says, for I am about to do a new thing. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wasteland. And so on my planner, I put just that verse and I put, God will make a way. And so all last year, I would see it. And so there continued to be a lot of unsteadiness in my job. Like I said, I ended up having to change companies and I ended up getting in a position that was very, I guess, more stable, which was very stable. It's very consistent. It's been a wonderful experience. And, but still through that, as we, I've talked about on here, I moved back in April of this year when my lease was up there. And so moving in this economy takes a toll. And so it was so funny though, like all the last summer, I lived in such worry because I was afraid, well, what if what I have runs out? What if what I have doesn't make it? That I really, when I look back on that season, it's kind of sad because I can see myself in such fear and just not fun. I mean, it wasn't fun. Like I was trying to have fun. I had just gotten a new puppy. I was taking her out and trying to do all the things and I had what I needed. I had more than enough of what I needed, but my mentality of it was stuck. And then what I actually feared was happening then actually happened this summer, because come this summer, there was bit of a slight mix-up with what I was supposed to get paid over the summer, and they cut it down several $100s off of my check. And so like what I was fearing last summer never happened, and I stayed in such worry and fear that it actually happened this summer, but I lived in such freedom. And the only thing that changed was my mindset, because I knew God was my provider. But I had to walk through it first and then get it in deep before I could live it out. And like I said, I've gone through seasons of that before, and God is a provider, not just in a financial situation, but in any type of situation. And even though we know it, we may have walked through it before, and you may see it coming. Like, I saw this coming. I knew I was trying to fight it. Like, and that's probably what it was last summer. I was fighting it. I don't want to walk through this, Lord. Like, this is not what I want. I know what you're going to do. I know you're going to provide for me. It's just going to be really hard, and it's not fun. But it was this time around, it was so much more fun because I've watched God provide every little thing. I've always been provided. I've always had more than enough. What I was so afraid of wasn't really, it was actually a lot better than what it was before. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that, about how God is our provider. And I know I was listening to a song, and I realized what the difference was for me. And it was where he says in Psalms 91:2, it says, "This I declare about the Lord. He alone is my refuge, my place of safety. He is my God, and I trust him." And that was the difference that I had made here and here, was that I knew alone he was my shelter and my safety and my refuge and my protection and my provider, so I did not have to worry about it. I was reading several years ago in this book, and it says that we encounter God by the ways that we walk through. Well, let me back up. So God has a lot of different names, right? So we know God has a lot of different names. Jesus, the Holy Spirit, they all have different names, and they can be called different things. You may call him healer, Yahweh. You may be provider. The list could go on and on. But my point is not to just name all those, but it was saying that all the names of God, you encounter all of those different names by what you walk through in life and by what you need. So like, I didn't know God was my provider until I've had to walk through a season where I needed him. I don't know God's my healer until I really have to walk through a season where I need healing. I don't know that he is sovereign over. I don't know that he is my deliverer until I walked through a season where I needed deliverance. And I needed to break away from a situation. Well, now I know that he is the God of Egypt. Like, I understand what they walked through, like where they left, and he provided a way out into the wilderness. Well, now I understand that because now I walk through it. So we experience and encounter God, and we all those different names and different ways of God by what we walk through in life. And so just wanted to encourage you in that no matter how rough the season may be, a lot of the times it's going to be way worse up here than what we actually walk out. And then sometimes you're sitting there like, Abby, but really it is that bad. Like, it's not good. My situation, it's really bad. And that might be the case too, but either way, we get to look and we know that God is. He is, and then fill in the blank. He is whatever we need. He can be whatever we need for us in all of those different seasons and moments of life. And so my big encouragement for you is just to pray, to ask God, ask that he opens your eyes and open your heart so that you can see him and encounter him and experience him in whatever type of situation that you're walking through. And, my situation is I think it's on the up, but I don't know. I don't know the future. We don't know the future. And I heard it recently that, there's two types of people that when you're on a road trip, there's those people that like enjoy the journey. They're like wanting to stop at all the rest stops, and they're like wanting to have a good time. And they're those destination people. They're like, okay, it's going to take us 4 hours, 30 minutes. If we don't stop, maybe we can make it a little bit faster because we'll beat the GPS time if we get there and we start now. And I'm that type of person. I'm a destination person. I see the end line. I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's get there. We may or may not have to stop. If we're stopping one time for a potty break, and that's it. Like we are gone. And they were like, but that's not how God works. Like God's a journey. He likes all the little stops along the way. And that's what frustrates us. And that's like when you go through difficult seasons in life, is like you just want to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, no, this is where I got to get to, and if I make it there, we're good. And God's like, yeah, but we're gonna go this way, and then we're gonna zag this way, and we're gonna go over here, and then we'll finally make it, because all along the way and all along the journey, I'm gonna build your character and get you so ready, because He's been building this provider thing within me. Has been building for years and years, and it's like now, okay, I feel like I've got, which I know, and there's always another level. It's not like I'm done with it, but I do feel like I'm better with it. We'll say it that way. And so I just encourage you along this journey that we have. Pray, seek Him, read His Word. His Word really is so full of everything that we need to calm all of our nerves and all of our fears and all of our worries and all of our doubts and anxieties. So God, tonight we just ask that you would just open our eyes and our ears and our hearts to hear you, and to know that you are with us through all of those trials, tribulations, and hard times, and that you will see us through all the way to the end and to our destination. Thank you, God. Thank you for joining me again here at Love Fashionably, and we'll see you guys next time.